I find it interesting sometimes when we look at who we are as human beings. We're actually made up of two parts. One is that we have a spirit inside us that is pretty smart and pretty spiritual, and in a lot of ways is untainted because of where it came from before this earth. On the other hand, it's housed inside a physical body that is oftentimes kind of a problem and is weak and subject to mistakes and stupids along the way, and that spirit has to then function within a uh, physical body full of weaknesses and problems, and is always trying to do better and falls back and struggles. Okay, I think it's interesting that when we look at the church, and when I talk to my friends, those that have left, they leave the church and they talk about the problems of the church and the struggle with the church and struggle with the truth claims of the church, um, and the mistakes that have been made by people, whether they be apostles or prophets or bishops or friends, and the mistakes that they have made in the church. At the same time, there's a dualistic nature to the church because what we worship and who we worship is Jesus Christ and the gospel of Jesus Christ and the simple and powerful principles of Jesus Christ and what he did and what he said and what he wanted us to do. That's the gospel of Jesus Christ. As with an awful lot of churches, not just ours, that that gospel and teaching and understanding of Jesus Christ comes housed a bit in a imperfect church organization, imperfect body, if you will, full of people that make mistakes and errors and do stupids all along the way, and yet it's where we go to try and understand the gospel of Jesus Christ. Church is pretty imperfect. Prophets have made mistakes. Ministers have made mistakes. The gospel of Jesus Christ stands pretty clear all on its own. But unfortunately, when people struggle, they're looking at the gospel through the lens of whatever imperfect church organization they're seeing it through, and that includes the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as much as anybody else. Perhaps the problem with a lot of this stuff, though, is that we tend to want to conflate the church and the gospel and make the gospel the church and look for perfection in the gospel, and therefore we tend to look at perfection in the church and look for perfection in leaders and prophets all along the way, which is a serious problem, I think, whether it's our church or anybody else's. That somewhere in here we've got to begin to have an understanding of the imperfect nature of the organization, the structural piece to it, and yet be able to enjoy and use it as a means, however flawed, to be able to come together and really enjoy the blessings of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, oftentimes people will say, "Well, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. Therefore, I've abandoned all the religious scaffolding from that," and they can certainly do that, and I think that works for a number of people. The problem is, I think sometimes that comes at a cost. Because then they become suspicious of any organization, any community, because of its warts, because of its imperfections, trying to adhere to and follow and learn more about what Jesus taught and what Jesus believed and what Jesus wants us to do on a regular basis. So I think the challenge for a lot of people is how do you struggle and recognize all of the warts in a church or the people in some religion and not miss the gospel of Jesus Christ and what people are striving to do to maybe get better at struggling at following that gospel. It's quite a challenge. We'll continue to kind of look at it.